Hey troops, Roxy here and welcome to Roxy Plays Games. Welcome to episode 1 of Around the World in 80 Days. So yes, we are back in Xplane, we are back in Hauler 2 and I have hopefully got a rather interesting series of videos to come to you over the upcoming weeks and months. Before I go into the details, first thing I want to do is obviously say a big massive thank you for everyone who has liked my previous videos and also subscribed to the channel. So thank you very much guys, it is really appreciated. I do need to quickly apologise, I've got a bit of a husky throat at the moment, it's a little bit dry, I'm not sure why. But I've been having a right nightmare trying to get this video done today, because it's going to be a long one initially to explain what it is that I'm going to be doing, and the flight itself is just under 3 hours, which obviously for you guys won't be that long because I'm going to be cutting out from once we get into the flight all the way through until we are descending. I'm going to cut that big the big middle chunk out of it for you guys to save you the pain. But yeah, I've had a bit of a nightmare today because first I tried, or when I started recording, and then I had a bit of an audio problem. And then the second one, just as I was descending, Xplane decided to crash. So, as they say, third time's a charm. My first attempt was first thing this morning, then it was lunchtime, and now it's currently 5:30 in the evening. So it's going to be a night arrival, potentially, or certainly getting dark. But let's get ourselves on the road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get Hauler 2 up and running first, get that all set up, and then I'm going to explain what this series of videos is going to be all about. So we're going to jump into ad hoc flight, and we got our 738. As I've mentioned in previous videos, when you're doing an ad hoc flight, the plane that you are flying cannot be obviously currently being flown by an AI for obvious reasons, but it can't be scheduled within the route's flights. If it's scheduled in a route, no matter when the route is or when the flight is, it won't appear here. Okay, so we're going to click on OK, and the flight today is going to be going to Brindisi in Italy. So we're going to use selected, and I've already had a quick play around with the ticket prices, and I found that I can put these actually all the way up without the tickets or the number of people coming in dropping off. So that's oh, actually, yeah. So as I go down, it drops off. And let me just double check this one. Yeah, so I can actually potentially I could have had higher prices for these if I had have had first class or business class, but that's fine. I'm going to add in a purchase service for the cabin, which is going to cost a little over 1,500. And as you can see here, the direct operating cost is 26,000. We've got fuel costs of 18, fuels and all that sort of stuff. But we're going to potentially be making £145,500. So we're going to make a nice little profit out of this one. We need to set the FS start time to 0 minutes before takeoff, so that there's no discrepancies there, and it's starting before we want it to. And we are going to depart at 1700, so that gives us 25 minutes, which is more than enough time for me to discuss what I would like to discuss, as well as get the plane all started. If it will actually let me put 17, thank you. I wish you could just like type it in, it kind of does it a bit weird. Right, so 1700 departure. So yeah, so we're going to be arriving at 8 o'clock Zulu, so that'll be 9 o'clock UK time, 10 o'clock local time, I believe. And we're going to click fly now. Right, so we want to do our fuel. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to Sim Toolkit Pro. So this is what I use for the multiplayer map side of things, as well as the flight planning, because this integrates with sim brief. So if you're unfamiliar with this, if you've not seen this before, I would recommend having a look again at my one of my other videos, a tutorial on multiplayer clients that we use, Sim Toolkit Pro and Xflight Server. So we are going to go into flight planning, generate a new flight. Departure airport is going to be EGLL, and we are going to LIBR. The aircraft of choice is going to be the 738 for the whole duration of this episode of flying, and I'll go into more detail on what we're actually going to be doing for this around the world in 80 days. So we're departing at 1700, not 17,000, please. And generate a plan. We'll see what it comes up with. I'm not going to go into the advanced and set the arrival and departure runways. We'll see what it gives us. Be aware sometimes this can take a little while, especially if SimBrief is busy with lots of people doing routes. But we can see we've got a runway 27 right for departure on det 2F. I'm going to input the star and the transition probably around about 100 miles from top of descent, and then I'll have a little look at this maybe a little bit earlier, but I'm not too worried about that now. As you can see, approximate distance of 1022 nautical miles with an approximate ETE of 2 hours and 49 minutes. Excuse me. So we're going to click fly now, and the information that I am interested in currently is the cruise altitude, the block fuel, which is 9294, and also the top of climb, wind and air temperature. So we are going to jump back over to Air Hauler 2, and we are going to put our fuel in. So it was, if I just refresh my brain, should I wrote this down on a bit of paper, 9294. So we want 9294. So I'm looking at this kilograms bit here. Obviously if you do it in pounds, you would do it in pounds, or in USG, 9294. So I'm using my cursor to kind of move to big numbers, and then I'm going to use my left and right arrow. 9294, that'll do. So that's going to give us a estimated range of 1,337 nautical miles. It's a little bit over the actual distance. I'm just going to cross-reference on the flight planning. Yeah, so we should be good for that. So let's click OK. So we're at gate 244. We're flying at 35,000 IFR. Let's click accept route and fly. So we've got our cargo and fuel weights in there. So now we're going to jump over to Xplane, and I've gone through my startup procedure, so that's all done. So let's go into fuel, payload. Our fuel was 9294, and our weight, cargo weight, is 13954. 13954. Let's do that, and then let's get the passengers on board. We should have a good few minutes. We'll have a quick look as the interface pops up in a second, so we can minimize that. And we've got 9 minutes of boarding, so that gives me enough time to discuss with you what the plan is. So I'm just going to head back over to my web browser and explain what we're doing. So basically I just went on to Google and on the wiki and just typed in around the world in 80 days and found the one that was done by Phileas Fogg in 1872, and I thought, you know something, let's have a little more of a detailed look into this and see whether it's something that we could feasibly do, and it is. We're not going to be travelling by train and a steamer boat. We're going to be using the plane for the whole duration, but we're going to try and follow this route as close as possible. The only exception to this route that we're going to make a bit of a diversion. So we're going to be going from London to Suez via Italy today. So we'll do Italy to Suez and Egypt for episode 2. We're going to be heading over to India. But when we get to Calcutta, rather than go, what they did in for this route is they went from Calcutta down to Singapore and then back up to Hong Kong. We're going to go straight across, but we're going to add a leg in the middle there, just because of the distance and the time it's going to take to get across there. And also from Yokohama to San Francisco, rather than going straight across, which I don't think would actually be possible anyway in the 738. We're actually going to be going up north into Canada and then around and back down to San Francisco. So there are going to be a few slight changes throughout the route, but obviously I'm going to be doing this all in the same plane, all within Air Hauler 2, so that you can see how this all works. And then once you've done the whole route, if you make a note of ticket prices and all that sort of stuff, you could then end up, if you've got enough planes, set up a set of routes for your AI to do this as well. But that's kind of a little bit more technical, and we may look into that at some point in the future. However, let's get ourselves now into Xplane again and start getting some settings done, shall we? So we're going to be doing a welcome announcement in a few minutes, but we're going to jump onto our FMC and put some information in here. So we've got our routing EGGL to LIBR, flight number, runway, let's go Perth init. Zero fuel reserves, cost index 36, cruise altitude is flight level 350, and let me just have a quick look at what I had down for top of climb wind. So 306.11, 306 dash 111, not 11, 111. And the top of climb temperature is minus 48. So if you guys need a bit of a tutorial, more in-depth tutorial on how to read a sim brief and put that information into the FMC, please let me know and I shall definitely input that for you. Sometimes it pops up insufficient fuel, but obviously it hasn't done the whole route yet, and at the moment it's going to have a discontinuity, so I'm just going to be flying in a straight line somewhere to infinity and beyond. So let's go take off. We're going to go flaps 5, center of gravity trim of 5, so we can do our trim wheel now, so I don't forget. V1, V rotate and V2 speed, so 134. Right, I've seen two variations of this. I've seen some people putting in 134, and some people, I'm going to hazard a guess, slightly more qualified than what I am, add in an extra 15. And I've actually found that actually is a bit better, especially if you don't hit VNav and LNav straight away, so that the plane goes by the computer. It will actually go to this speed here rather than the slower speed of 134. So this has been working for me, so it's something that I do. I don't know which one is the correct method, but that's the method that I'm currently using. Okay, right, so departure and arrival. Departure runway we've already activated, which is 27 right, and we're using the Det2F SID, so let's execute that. And the departure arrival, the arrival is ILS 31. We're going to put in the rest of the information when we get up into the cruise a little bit closer. It's something I'm not too worried right this second. Right, so let's go into legs. We are going to obviously, legs, we are going to have a couple of broken bits in here. See here, so we would have been flying in that direction now, 152 degrees for forever, because we had a broken bit of the leg, but we're going to add that in there. And we're going to execute. So what I'm going to do is, before we get to top of descent, I'm going to jump back into SimToolkit Pro and show you how you can amend your flight plan and obviously do your arrival stars and approaches and all that sort of stuff, and make sure that it's all looking how you want it to look. It just makes it a little bit easier for when you're coming in and you're not zigzagging all over the place and ending up at the other side of the world. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. We've got 2 minutes left on our boarding. So let us do our altitudes. That might come in handy. So 3500 on our altitude here, and also on our overhead panel we need to do it on here. Now I am using the Zebo Copilot plugin, so I'm not following the normal what's the word I'm looking for, checklist. I'm not going through the normal checklist that I would do. I will do that in a video, cold and dark full start, going through the proper checklist, but because I'm using the autopilot plugin, it does big chunks of it for me, so I don't actually need to do that. Right, so let us, I'm actually going to add in, alright, I'm a little bit nervous about that amount of fuel that it's given me. I'm actually going to add in, do I, you know something, look, I've got it set on pounds. I knew it, I was just looking then and I was thinking the fuel doesn't seem right. Why haven't I got extra fuel in the center tank? It's actually because I am in pounds rather than kilograms, so I need to go into configuration. Is it general? Yeah, change that to kilograms. I thought there was something not quite right there, so let's go back into fuel, payload. Right, got to add half the amount of fuel that I needed. So that was 9. Going back to my block fuel. Block fuel 9294, 9294, and this was, can't actually remember how much this was, so I'm just going to put 13100. It was around about that, I think. Right, let's call our fuel truck just to top us off. Oh, that was lucky I spotted that one. So make sure that obviously when you're doing your fuel, make sure that you've got it in the right settings. I had it in pounds and I was putting in, I was just looking, I was thinking, why have I not got any fuel in the center tank? Surely for this distance I'm going to need fuel in there as well. Right, so we're going to put our center fuel tanks on. We're going to do our welcome announcements because everyone is on board now.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome aboard our flight today. We're wrapping up the final paperwork here to get you on your way momentarily. I want to thank you so much for your company and business. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Again, welcome aboard.
Awesome. Right, so I'm going to call for a better pushback, get him coming in because he's going to take a few minutes to get us set up, and then we can do our pre-flight bits and pieces.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Thank you.
Pre-flight procedures.
There's a tug coming in.
Flight procedures completed.
Everything's all locked up and ready to go. Right, so runway. Runway is 270. We are going to be hitting VNAV and LNAV straight away anyway, so that's not going to be an issue, but just in case, I'm going to have that at the ready. Flight directors can come on, auto throttle can be armed, and like I said, I'm going to use VNAV and LNAV because pretty much as soon as we take off, we're going in the direction
all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
that we want to go in anyway, and then we get to our first waypoint and then we're going to hook a left. So as soon as I'm up at the right altitude, 400 feet, we can hit our autopilot or our command button and then let the computer kick off. But if for any reason, you know, something happens or whatever, at least I can just hit heading select and head in the right heading. So I am using this crazy looking livery here. I really do like this one.
Connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
I know we're not in Alaska, and we're not going to be in Alaska for a long time, many weeks, but I just like this livery. So this is the plane that we're going to be flying for this whole duration, which I'm looking at this moment around about 15 legs. Today is the 6th of July, so this is the first flight, our maiden voyage, and we should be arriving back on day 80, providing nothing gets in the way, on the 24th of September. So that is the approximate plan. Okie dokie. Right, so we're looking good. Let us
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
start engines.
Engine 1 timing.
So I'm just going to
Start
do
valve open N2 Ryzen.
see.
Direct your attention to the video screens located throughout the cabin for an important safety demonstration on our Boeing 737 aircraft. Thank you.
So we're going to do the safety briefs now.
25% N2.
Have a quick sip of my herbal tea.
There are so many places to go in this world, and so many airlines that can take you there.
So we thank you.
For making the journey with us.
Thank you.
And now we'd like you to pay attention to the following safety video.
First,
Starter cut out.
To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal fitting into the buckle and pull on the loose end of the strap to tighten. To open,
Engine 2
lift up on
timing.
the buckle.
Start
We
valve
recommend
open
you keep your
N2
seatbelt
rising.
fastened at all times, as turbulence can occur unexpectedly.
As we prepare for takeoff, please be sure your seat back and tray table are up and carry-on baggage is under a seat.
Smoking is not allowed at any time. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors in the lavatories.
25% N2.
U.S. law requires passengers to comply with all signs and crew member instructions about seatbelts and smoking.
So that you may follow along, we have provided a safety instruction card in your seat pocket.
All exits on this airplane are clearly marked. Please refer to the safety instruction card to locate your nearest exit. Keep in mind, the closest exit may be behind you. On this airplane, life rafts are located in ceiling compartments. Each cabin exit door and some exits over the wings are equipped with an evacuation slide. Some slides, except
Starter
those over
cut
the
out.
wings, may also be used as ramps. This aircraft has escape path lighting in the aisle. Red lights or an exit sign will indicate you have reached an exit. In an emergency evacuation, leave all carry-on bags behind and quickly proceed to the nearest exit.
If the aircraft cabin loses pressure, the panel above your seat can take...
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Pull down firmly to start the flow of oxygen.
Disconnecting toes. Stand by.
Lift the elastic band over your head and tighten by pulling the strap on either side.
Breathe normally. Even though oxygen is flowing, the plastic bag may not inflate. Always put your own mask on first and then help others near you.
A life vest is located under the seat or between seats. The safety instruction card shows the exact location.
To use the vest, open the cover by pulling the red tab or compartment handle to break the seal.
Remove the vest from the package like this.
Put the vest on over your head, wrap the strap around your waist, and attach the buckle. Pull the loose end of the strap to tighten.
Once outside, pull down on the red tab to inflate the vest, or blow into the red tube on the side of the vest. There is also a light that will illuminate upon contact with the
Cell is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
safety card shows.
The crew will now be coming through to do a final cabin check.
Oh, appears that there's a problem with X-Flight server, so we won't be using that today. Wait for Tug now to make his way out and give us a wave off. There we go. Thank you, sir. Parking brake off.
Beginning before taxi procedures.
Everything has to be in airplane mode or powered off at this time, please.
Before taxi procedures completed.
So that is a big chunk of this part of the video done. So we're going to take off, and then I will be cutting the video until I'm going to probably go for around about 100 nautical miles from top of descent, bring you back so that I can go through the any changes that I need to do for the arrival. I may not need to do any, but I'll have a quick look anyway before I start the recording back up again, and if I do need to make some changes I'll do that with you guys. We can see it's quite a busy airport here. We've got an airplane just taking off there. We've got this guy taxiing in front of us, so I'm guessing that we're going to be following him. Oh no, we actually need to go forward one more, following the taxiway. So he may be taxiing back in. Potentially, not quite sure. Yeah, he's just turned off there. So it's kind of got two lanes, and a lane for taxiing when you've landed and a lane for taxiing when you're departing, by the looks of it. Obviously I'm no professional here, but I do like Heathrow. It's a nice big airport, it's always busy, even at night time. It's better at night time, I think, with all the lights from the actual airport and the planes and stuff. It's quite cool to look at. So I'm going to head down here, see what this plane here is doing. I may have been wrong about what I said earlier. It looks like he may be actually taxiing down. I'm not sure why he didn't come down this part that I'm coming down, unless he's parking up directly ahead of us. No, he's turning left. Not quite sure. It's no concern. It's way out of our range. Yeah, it does look like he must be parking up over there somewhere. Right, so we are going to hold short here. 27 right. Put the parking brake on. We've got a plane there, obviously going to be taken off very shortly. We are going to do our before takeoff procedures.
Beginning before takeoff procedures.
Flight attendants prepare for takeoff, please.
Before takeoff procedures completed.
Let's put our takeoff and landing lights on.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Right, so we should be good to push out now. So a couple of other things I want to do in some of my flights. I want to use the in-game ATC. I think that would be really cool to have a go on that, and I'd also want to do a flight where I'm using VATSIM as well. I do have a VATSIM account and I've used them before, not very often. I'm no VATSIM expert by any means, but it's something that I find interesting. It's something that you can't really do for fun because you've got to be very professional on it, but then I like the whole immersion, I like the whole realism, and that is like the kind of icing and the candle on top of the cake, so to speak. Because obviously being a professional Boeing 738 pilot is just never going to happen in real life, unfortunately. Not unless something weird happens and I win the lottery and buy my own plane. Right, so I think we are good to go. So let's go Toga and let us start our chrono.
Airspeed alive. Takeoff thrust
80 knots. V1 rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Positive rate, gear up.
Gear up.
So we're just hand flying it at the moment.
400.
And let's stick on autopilot.
1000.
And that's us, guys and girls. We are up in the air. No hiccups there, which is obviously always handy. So let's have a quick look at our map. Right, so I'm going to go flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And then flaps up in a second. Okay, flaps up.
Flaps up.
And let's have a quick look. So this is the route that we will be doing. So we're currently here with a black plane. We're going to be heading down here, and then let me just take off follow, heading east. See, we've got lots of planes on. ATC for VATSIM in this area is currently online. Yeah, we're going to be heading along here across the English Channel, and then heading all the way down here southeast, going down, and then a little bit of a right turn, heading down. Got a little bit of bad weather here, so I'm not sure. Hopefully that'll clear up by the time we get there, but we shall see. But then, yeah, off the coast here, through and along down here, past Bosnia, and then we're going to be doing a little bit of adjustment here. We need to sort out our arrival, because obviously we're not just going to fly direct into the runway. We're coming in on runway 31, so we're coming in on that heading. See runway 31 there. So we're going to need to add in our approach and arrival procedures, but we'll do that, like I say, probably when we're let's have a quick look at the waypoints here. Probably somewhere around about here, I'm guessing. This is when we'll start playing around with that, maybe a little bit earlier, but I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look at where it's going to put the waypoints in, and then obviously then jump into Xplane and adjust all of them up. Right, so let's go back into our plane. So we are cruising at 6,000 feet, and we're going to be doing this for a short while now. Well, I say short while, quite a little while actually. We've got a good few miles. I don't know why there is a restriction
set.
on climbing any higher, but it's what is in the flight plan, and I'm pretty sure if I was using ATC or VATSIM, they may differ from what is in this flight plan, but it's what's come from Simbrief, so we'll just leave it there. And that is probably a good place for me. I'm going to put the anti-skid brakes and the
gear off, auto brake off.
Gear off, so that's all set, and then that's it, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the video here, and I shall bring you back, like I say, roughly 100-ish, 50-ish nautical miles from top of descent. Once I've worked out what I'm going to do with the arrival procedures, and then I'll show you what I'm actually doing, just in case anyone is unsure of how to do that. And we'll take it in for a landing, and then obviously close everything down, close hauler 2 down, or the flight anyway. And then what I will finish off on is quickly setting up some AI cargo routes so that I can get some passive income coming in while I sleep tonight. So guys, I shall catch you, well, for you it's going to be seconds, for me it's going to be about 2.5 hours or so. Okay guys, speak to you in a bit. Okay troops, we are back, yes, and a little bit later than I planned. We're currently 42 nautical miles from top of descent, so I am going to quickly jump over to Sim Toolkit Pro, as you can see here, and I've had a quick look already. But as you can see, we're coming straight in here, and we want this star, the XAP1K. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to bring us out, around and in. And I had a quick look at some transitions, and this one brings us a little bit further out. But as you can see, there's a little bit of it kind of comes out, in, up to here, and then back in and back out. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this waypoint here, BRD, so that makes it more square, and we're also going to get rid of this waypoint here. So now we've got expat, Noggle, and then our approach in. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go back into Xplane, and we're going to just quickly put that into the FMC. So we're currently here, so we've got XOR, and then let's go to departure and arrival, and we want the XAPA1R Noggle, execute, and then go to legs. And as you can see, we've got some discons here, so we're going XONA, expat we want in BCS we want to get rid of because that was the BRD. Slightly different waypoint due to the air rack cycle being different, and then the rest of it should pretty much be okay. So we're going to click execute, and now we should be perfectly fine. So what I need to do now, before I reach the top of descent, which has changed slightly because we're going a little bit further out, is we want to drop our altitude down here to 2000, and I'm going to go into a map mode on here, plan mode, and just have a little look to make sure that the steps is looking fine on here. So XR, expat, and then our arrival coming in. So yeah, that's us looking all fantastic. Let's go to map, leave that as it is, and as you can see, it's a wee bit dark, We can see we're leaving the light behind us, and we're heading into the darkness. But that's all cool, we like that. Nice nighttime landing. I actually sometimes prefer, although obviously I like seeing the scenery, I also like seeing all of the landing lights and stuff. That's kind of cool in my opinion. But yes, it's been a little bit of a while. I got distracted with some bits and pieces, but I'm obviously back now. Thankfully I managed to catch it in time before I reach top of descent, because if you get to top of descent and you haven't changed your altitude, then you just carry on that altitude, which obviously can be a little bit of an issue. But we're all looking good. We've got plenty of fuel. Still got 3.6 in the tanks, and we've got 27 nautical miles, 26 until top of descent. So we should be in the airport in 28 minutes, give or take. You can see the top of descent here. So yeah, it's been a nice little flight. Like I say, the whole plan of this series is to do multiple legs going around the world, roughly following the around the world in 80 days plan that Phileas Fogg did. And I'm going to be, like I say, I'm going to be doing, some weeks it would be one, some weeks it would be two, but the plan at the moment is today and Saturday this week, then Monday, Saturday next week, and then from then it will be on the Mondays, apart from the last flight leg, which will be on the 24th of September, but they may all change depending on work and all those bits and pieces. And I may just have to change the time that I actually do the flights, because at the moment I'm doing them, or trying to do them during the day. That was a tongue twister there, but I may have to do them late at night, which is a bit of an inconvenience as well. Although it's nice and quiet, I have to be quiet because then everyone's in bed, so it's kind of a lose-lose no matter when I do it. If I do it during the day and the kids are here, it's noisy, people can ring, people can knock on the door, parcels can arrive, so there can be distractions, and then you do it at night time. I have to then be quiet because everyone's in bed asleep. So yes, I will try my best to do it wherever I can, whenever I can. But I hope that you enjoy it, and we'll try and do something different on each one. So this one was more focused on explaining what I'm going to be doing. So I'll definitely do one where I do a full cold and dark startup of the plane. I'll do one where I might go into a little bit more detail on sim brief and how you read that information on there. I wouldn't mind as well doing a little bit more information on reading charts as well for like departures and arrivals and stuff. So if there's anything that you would like to know a little bit more about, then please let me know. We're just coming up now to top of descent, and then we shall do our announcements for descent, and we should have a little over 25 minutes until we land. So all in all, this video should be just over an hour. Well, I say just over an hour for the flight, and then I need to obviously go through the final bits of air hauler. I couldn't think of the word then. Right, so we are starting to descend, so let's do a descent announcement.
Folks from the flight deck, we've started our descent. Should have you on the ground in about 15 minutes. Want to thank you so much for your company and business, and hope to see you again with us sometime very soon.
Okay, so they're saying 15 minutes, I reckon closer to 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe. Right, so we need some drag. Let's get that on the go. Clear that announcement, or that message I should say. So what other videos am I going to be uploading onto my channel? Well, I started playing Green Hill, so you may have been seeing them pop up. Unfortunately, I'm going to most likely have to start that again. I'm going to probably start that again tonight, and the reason being is I was doing my I can't remember if it's the 3rd or 4th episode. I think it's the 4th episode. I was doing the recording for that. The game crashed, and then every time I tried getting in, no matter what load I was picking, it just kept crashing. So I'm guessing I had something corrupt, so I ended up having to uninstall and really reinstall it, and going through all that process I unfortunately lost my saves. So I have done the little starter tutorial bit again to leave you where I was after I kind of did the weird disappearing, falling into water, the radio being on the beach kind of thing. So I'm back there again, which is a bit of a bummer because I did have quite a nice little bit of a progress. Found a village, started doing some construction in there, got a little banana tree on the go and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's all gone. So yeah, I'm a little bit frustrated and gutted, but it's a really good game and I don't want to give up on it. So I will be returning to that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the videos I've already got on, whether to leave them there or get rid of them, or whether I call it a kind of a season 2 restart, so to speak. I might do that actually, just leave them there. Yeah, I think I probably will. Right, what are we at? So just coming down to 27,000 feet. Still a little ways to go on our descent. What we can do actually is, while we're descending, is do a little bit of pre-planning. So we come into our FMC and hit init ref. We can get our frequencies and course. So we want a course of 313. So we need to put that into here. 313, because that was a bit far past. And 313 on this one. So we got our course set for our outside and the co-pilot side, and the frequency we require. Wow, that was getting my lips all muddled up. Is 109.5. So we want make sure this is on ILS 109.50. Move that up to the active. Then we need to do the same on this one. 10950, move up to the active. So we got our frequencies set for our ILS landing, we got our courses set, and then when we get to probably a little bit below 10,000 feet, we'll do our approach reference VREF. So we're going to be coming in on flaps 30. Currently we're on 134 knots. That may decrease a little bit as we lose a bit more fuel weight. What we're going to do now is we are going to put our, in fact we'll wait until 10,000 and then we'll put our lights to landing. Currently this little funky purple colour. So obviously if this was a daytime flight, I'll be pointing out some points of interest. But unfortunately, it's so dark, so there's no real point in mentioning anything that we can't see. So just coming up to 22,000 feet. We've got currently passenger satisfaction at 100%, scheduled ETA is 49 minutes, but obviously we will be landing a lot sooner than that, so we're going to be ahead of schedule for our arrival according to what Hauler 2 thought we was going to be landing on, which is always a positive, because if you're late you then lose a satisfaction, on top of obviously how our landing is. I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice soft landing, so we get the maximum amount of points that we can. Alright, 21,000 feet and descending still, another 10,000 to go, and then we shall do some announcements and change the lights. Yeah, it's been a long old journey, this one, but enjoyable. The bits that I've been here. Obviously I didn't record it. Let me know as well if you would actually prefer for me to just do the full flight recording. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be talking the whole way through it, but if you do want to actually watch it, let me know. And also let me know if you would like me to do a live stream of a flight. It's certainly something that I can consider doing, depending on time and all that sort of stuff, but obviously I don't have any followers on Twitch, so it will be pretty empty on there, and the community that I'm part of is quite a big following on Steve's channel that I do a lot of the multiplayer stuff on. So there's always people chatting in chat, so there's lots of conversation going on. So for me to do my own streaming will be pretty desolate, I guess. A bit quiet. But you know, if you guys are interested in watching a live stream and chatting along with me while I'm flying, then it's certainly something I can do. Right, let's set our auto brakes to 1. We've got quite a long runway, 3,000 meters. Don't foresee any issues with landing. And let's get our lights to landing. We'll do that now. And we'll do our announcements for prepare to land.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing, please.
Preparation for landing, please return to your seats. Be sure your seatbelts are securely fastened and store your tray tables. Place any carry-on luggage you may have taken out during the flight either behind the seat in front of you or in an overhead compartment. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin one last time. Look to any remaining service items. We will be landing shortly.
Alright, it's coming up to 14,000 feet now. Once we hit 10,000 feet, we'll do our 10,000 feet descent procedures. Get some landing lights on. We can see the airport there. So it's got 2 runways. Obviously we're coming in on 31, and then it's got this one that goes across as well. This is quite shorter runway. Not sure exactly the distance on it, but we're becoming on this long one here. And this is the bit that always makes me nervous when I'm doing a flight on a hauler 2, because well, look, as I had earlier, Xplane crashed not too far from around here, so I can't remember exactly where it was, but it wasn't that far away. The game crashed on me, so that was a bit of a bummer. So that always makes me nervous, because you think, oh, I've just been flying for all these hours and the game crashes at this point. It's like, rrr. And obviously a few more adult words come out, and also the landing as well, because I'm flying everything as realistic as I can. So I've got realistic weather on. I'm using what's the word I'm looking for? Come back to me, please. Active sky. Sorry, brain froze for a second. I'm using active sky for my real weather. So it does affect the plane and how it flies. And my next one I want to get is XP realistic, so it'll add in some turbulence and sneezing and all those bits and pieces, which I think will be quite cool. Right, just going to put the air brakes back on again, get that speed down to 240. So you can see basically I'm looking at the ticker tape here for our speed. That's what we want to be at, and that's what we currently are. You can see the little ticker tape moving up. So I can probably take the speed brakes back off again now. And if I start speeding up too much, I'll put it back on. But that's looking fine. We're pretty much coming up to 10,000 feet. So let's get ready for our 10,000 feet procedures. Let's go for this. So that has come down a little bit, 133 knots now. So we just need to hit this button twice. And that gives us our references here. So flaps 30 and a speed of 133 is what we want to be landing on. So we can go back onto legs on there. And this is it, guys. We are pretty much here. Let's have a look out the window. See the runway there. Not seeing any planes there. So, quiet airport, I guess. The red writing, in case you didn't work out, is artificial planes that are doing real life flights.
Level check altimeter.
Right, 10k descent.
Beginning 10k descent procedures. 10k descent procedures completed.
Cool, cool. We're just coming in now, going to be doing a right hand turn. And another right hand turn to land. So that's all good. So we're just coming up to K-Pat, and once we hit K-Pat, right hand turn, and then another right hand turn at Loglu. So yeah, you can see the time here, we've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So that's all cool beans. Still saying that we're ahead of schedule, which is good. Right, so I'm just going to go through my final checks and everything, make sure that I'm happy. I've done my course, that's all good. Frequencies are locked in. Got our speeds and flaps set for a landing. QNH is the only thing that I haven't had added in here, so let me have a quick look at what that is.
QNH set.
There we go. QNH set by the autopilot. Thank you very much. I didn't even have a chance to do it myself then. He beat me to it. So that's another little added feature. So the Copilot plugin does quite a lot of the stuff. You still have to do a fair amount yourself and obviously make sure that everything's correct. But it does help out a lot. So you don't have to think too much. And you can enjoy the flight a little bit more. And obviously when I'm doing the full cold and dark procedures, then I just turn it off because it'll just interfere otherwise. Right, so we can see our glide slope here. So at the moment we are below the glide slope, but obviously we need to turn around and then come in, and then we'll be all super duper there, and then our VOR lock will move across. Right, so I'm just going to put the speed brakes back on again, drop some of the speed because we are going a little bit too fast here. We want to be at 196 and we're currently at 250. And we are going to hit flaps 1. Help with that speed dropping down. Really need to get that speed taken out because we are going way too fast.
1,000 to go.
So we're going to go flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
And we're pretty much online, so we're going to hit VOR lock and approach.
Localizer captured.
And command 2. And we're just going to wait until we are in control of our speed, and then we'll
1,000 to go.
Adjust that. The speed's coming down beautifully now. 156 is what we want to be at. And then we'll be decreasing to 133. So I did put my flaps down a little bit early, but I just wanted to get that speed taken out rather than coming in too fast.
Glide slope captured.
Right, so glide slope is captured. So we've got control of our speed now, so let's drop it down to 145. Let's go gears down, flaps 15. We can take this speed brake back off again. It is armed and ready to deploy. Okay, I have got hands on now, ready to take over in case I need to. Let's hope for a good landing. We drop down to 140.
1,000.
We're going to hit flaps 30. go 133.
Five hundred.
500.
400. 300. Minimums. 200.
Light slow. Light slow. Light slow.
100. 100.
Light slow. Light slow.
50. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Straight back up. Reverse on.
Reverser's normal.
$80 knots.
Take auto brake off.
Localizer captured.
And
Glide
we
slow
are down
captured.
safely.
We'll be taxiing for the next few minutes, so please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened and all items stowed until the seatbelt sign is turned off. Please make sure you have all your personal belongings before you exit the aircraft, and be careful when opening the overhead compartment. You're now free to use your mobile phones and small lightweight devices. Thank you for flying with us today. We hope you've had a pleasant experience, and we look forward to welcoming you again on another flight.
Brilliant. So we have got a little bit of a taxi back down the runway. Well, not on the runway, obviously, but back down that way. Let's do
Beginning cleanup procedures.
After landing checklist.
Cleanup procedures completed.
EPU started. After landing items set, checklist completed.
Thank you. So we can see the airport is on our right hand side. We're going to go down here, we're going to take a right, cross over the runway. And then we'll be able to park ourselves up. So yeah guys, thank you very much if you're still here watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And if you know anyone else that might be interested in watching these videos, then please feel free to share it with them. That's always appreciated. The purpose of obviously my videos is more on the tutorials and guides basis, but then some of my videos I'm going to be uploading is just footage of me playing games. So I've kind of got like an online record of stuff that I've been doing. Wish I'd have kind of started doing this stuff a long time ago, but there we go. There's games that I played a long time ago that unfortunately I'll never get to see again because the games are no longer out. One of them being Star Wars Galaxies. Favourite game of all time, that was. Right, so we need to cross over this runway, so double check, make sure nothing coming in, doesn't look like it. Try and keep myself going in a straight line if I can, that would be appreciated. A little bit squiggly across there. Let's go across this runway quickly. And we shall park up, power down, and then head back into Air Hauler 2 to finish the job. Get our monies. And one thing I didn't actually mention at the start is I'm now using my own personal Air Hauler 2 company rather than the tutorial company. Right, so let us see if we can find somewhere to park up. Obviously ATC isn't here to tell me, and I'm not using FM cars, so let's park down there. That looks like somewhere where we can park, I think. Probably should have followed the line, but there we go. Hence why I'm not a professional Boeing pilot, or a professional any pilot, to be fair. But I do enjoy the sims, I do enjoy flying, it's nice and relaxing, and obviously I like helping people out where I can. So if I can have the enjoyment of doing a flight and also at the same time helping someone out who's new into flight simming or new to a particular type of plane, then as they say, it's a win-win for everyone. We shall park it up here. Okay, parking brake is on. Let's shut down and let everyone out.
Beginning shutdown procedures. Shutdown procedures completed.
Cross-check, thank you.
Right, so disembarking passengers, close Xplane and tab back to Air Hauler to complete flight. Now you don't need to close Xplane down to finish the flight. They just recommend that you do just in case there's any issues, but I've never personally had any issues. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back over to Sim Toolkit Pro first. We're going to click Flight Summary and we are going to complete flight, and the fuel remaining in the tank, landing rate, oh that's a new thing. Let me just come back over here. I've never seen this before. So it actually gives us a landing rate. Good, 3 stars. Thank you. That must be a new thing because I've never seen that before. But we want to get our fuel here to put that into Sim Toolkit Pro. So our remaining fuel was 3317. So we actually only used a little under 6,000 kilograms. So we had plenty of fuel left over. So that's that done. And then obviously here's a log of all the flights that I've previously done. So I've done 54 flights in total with a total of 108.1 hours, total distance of 31,115 nautical miles, and the most visited airport is Liverpool. That's when I've been doing my tutorial videos flying in and out of there. But obviously this is going to increase massively when I do my around the world trip. Leg 1 done. So now let us get into Air Hauler 2, which is here. Passenger flight completed, income 145,500 of the Great British Pounds, passenger satisfaction 99%. Okay, passengers disembark, please close Xplane and return. Okay, we don't need to do that. And then we can finish flight monitoring and get our results. Make sure you don't click on quit, otherwise you won't have had anything registered. So flight time 2 hours and 23 minutes. We're currently in LIBR. Landing performance okay on concrete. We've got a load of readings here. I'm not going to read it all out. I'll let you guys scan over that at your leisure. But we are going to click OK, finish flight monitoring. And that's it, guys. That is our first flight done on our Around the World in 80 Days. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you hopefully on Saturday for leg 2, which is going to be, let me bring it up, Around the World. So leg 2, I'll just zoom in here a little bit. So we've gone from London to Italy, and we're going to be going from Italy to Suez. We're actually going to Cairo in Egypt, which is pretty close to Suez, and that's where our flight on Saturday will be for episode 2. So guys, stay safe, thanks very much, love you all, and be good.